right, Home Service Pros. Welcome to the Battle Plan Marketing Podcast, episode number 146. Today we have a special guest on the show, Mr. Don Hilderbrand of PlumbSmart Plumbing and Drains out of Asheville, North Carolina. Looks like they've been going since about 2008. Got a 4.7 rating on Google from 500 reviews. So hats off to them. Welcome to the show, Don.
Thank you, Mark. Glad to be here.
Appreciate you coming on, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
tell us
Always a
what...
pleasure.
Definitely appreciate your time, Don. I know you're a busy man running a big company. Tell us what you do, who you do it for, where you do it, Don.
PlumbSmart. We're a full service residential service contractor. We do service. That's all we do. So we don't get into new construction. I have one contractor that I've been doing business with for almost 18 years, and he's really the only one we do construction with. Other than that, it's just your typical everyday service. We do the sewers, we do water lines, water heaters, water filtration, things like that. Toilets, garbage disposals. The normal everyday things that we do. We just try to do it a little bit better and a little bit cleaner.
I like it. Did you come out of the new build world or came out of the service world?
No, I've got commercial, industrial, residential experience that I've been doing. I've been doing this for over 40 years. I've got started out actually digging ditches for 12-inch fire mains.
Whoa.
So ductile iron. That's in the heat of summer. That's always fun.
Right.
So I started out doing sprinklers, and then I moved into doing different aspects from that, doing plumbing, and then we did from plumbing. I went into industrial work and started doing that a lot. When I started PlumbSmart, we started it with the mindset of service only, and we've always dabbled in the construction, but we got out of construction. Other than my one contractor, we got out of doing any construction about 5 years ago.
Gotcha. So 2008, that's right around the last real estate crash start of maybe a year or two into it, right?
That was right in the middle of it. That was, the people I was working for didn't have, I'd be going home early, and didn't have a whole lot going on. So,
Yeah.
out of necessity, I decided to hang my shingle and, go out there on my own and conquer the world. And like everybody, realized that it sounded good in the head when you did it.
Right? The story is always better in our heads until we get in, and then it's, wow, that's a lot of work. Plus, again, starting at let's call it a recession. That's your 1 or 2 or 3 years, depending on what state you're in, into a massive, one of the worst real estate crashes in the history of the country.
Yeah, it was it was felt all the way around. Luckily, we started out doing service and service only, and
Yeah.
so many of the people in the area were doing new construction, and a lot of them hit the skids. A couple of them was able to survive it. For the most part, no, they got absorbed or closed up completely.
Yeah, the building stops. So unless you were just working with a couple of small custom builders or something, you're probably in big
Yeah,
trouble.
it was rough, but we didn't have any of that going on. So we were good. We got into doing
Nice.
green plumbing. Actually one of the founding members for Green Plumbers USA. Back in 2008, 2009, Green Plumbers came over here from Australia, and so Green Plumbers USA was instrumental in helping to write a lot of the plumbing code and plumbing instructions and such that go into the Green Building Council. So that was
Nice.
fun to be a part of.
Nice. Were there a lot of big changes in the plumbing world for on the, eco green side, efficiencies and stuff? Well, I guess
Well,
in the
not a lot.
water heaters and things, right?
On the green for the green side of it, it actually brought to light a lot of the lead and other things, Energy Star and some of those things. So it made those, and Water Sense was a result of that that came about. So it really kind of gave them popularity, which
I
helped.
see.
You know, giving them popularity really helped us to for people to see what was high efficiency and what was efficiency.
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
at that time nobody knew what a high efficiency toilet was.
Right.
And if you said it's a high efficiency toilet, you would kind of get people looking at you like, what are you talking about there? And so it was the educational part about, no, this is not where you have the brick in the back of the toilet. And no, this is not the kind of shower head that where you turn the water on and then you run around in the shower to get wet. Because
Right.
it just reduces flow. So it's the entire oxygenating of the water stream to make it more full and stuff like that. And we have them in our house. My wife and daughter actually prefer them. They say it actually helps them to rinse their hair, and they both got long, thick hair, so
Yeah.
it works really good, and they enjoy it.
Yeah.
We use high efficiency toilets, and pretty much all of them are going that way nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Do your utilities give any kind of rebates, locally?
Yes, yes, yes. Our utilities do. We get on the where I am here in Asheville. We have a movement. It's a pilot program. It's called Electrify Asheville, and it's only here in the Asheville and the Buncombe County area. It's not outside of that area. But what they do is they've got grant money, and you can go to them. They will help you find rebates from the energy, say from the utility company, from the electric company or the gas company, or whatever the case may be. Um, right now, Duke is offering like a $300 rebate on your power bill that you can use directly towards the purchase of a heat pump, water heater. They also have those same incentives and or better incentives for HVAC heat pumps and for electrical panel upgrades or home upgrades on the electrical side. Um,
Hmm.
and then this entity, Electrify Asheville, they will actually help you seek out other rebates that you can get. Um, and maybe some of them are on your taxes. Maybe some of them are from, you say you can combine electric and gas utilities for and water utilities and such for those rebates. And then what you don't get or what you can't get, they can actually and will actually help you offset or even pay for the entire project. So you can actually get a new heat pump water heater, you know, $5,000-6,000 job installed at no charge to you. At no
Wow.
cost to you. It's works out pretty good. So we've actually got a lot of traction for it. It's working out well.
That's awesome. So they're like a non Electrify Asheville is like a nonprofit, what would you call it? Like consultant or trying to find you all the deals that you qualify for?
Yeah, they're a nonprofit. They are a nonprofit, and that's what they do. You go to
Nice.
them. Um, you can come to our site. We can point you to them, or you can just look up Electrify Asheville and you can go there. And you can apply for. You have to be, like I said, you have to be in Asheville or Buncombe. You have to be a resident. It's residential only. It's not for commercial.
Right. Right.
And they will, you tell them what you need, tell them what you got going on. You can show them invoices, whatever the case may be, and they will say, okay, well, you can apply for this, and you'll get this, and here's your balance, and depending on income structure and first one thing,
Right.
and they don't really have an income limit. So that's really great. So it's not just for certain income levels or whatever. It's across the board.
Across the board.
Everybody gets the same the same opportunity, and they're not limiting it. So it's open to so many people.
That's great.
We try very, very hard to push that and to
Like it.
let people know that they can get those opportunities.
Like it. Yeah, a lot of promotions going on locally around the country to, water heaters, low flow, et cetera. Talk about heat pumps. So that's come across my desk a few times in the last couple of months. Are those a growing product line for you, Don, or
Yeah,
heat pump
actually,
water heaters?
yeah, heat pump water heaters. Yeah, absolutely. We've got, everybody's coming out with one. Ream is probably the most notable. Ream and GE, but Ream is probably the most notable. We're certified service providers for AO Smith and for Ream, and we're also factory level support for AO Smith as well as for American Standard water
Nice.
heaters and heat pumps. We do a national program with Renai and a national program with AO Smith as well. So Renai has a heat pump water heater they use that they have. American Standard has it. Stable Eltron is probably the most noted. They've been out longer than anybody. They're German manufactured, German made.
Mm-hmm.
They're very, very good, but they it's kind of hard to get them. It's not a lot of supply houses carry them, but
I
they
see.
are very, very good. Um, but we don't really see a lot of rebates and such with them. I think it's probably because they're across the pond. A water heater that, as far as heat pumps go, the American Standard, what we like about it is because it does have a few field serviceable parts on it, whereas none of the other brands have anything that's field serviceable.
Oh,
So
oh, didn't know that.
you walk up to it and it's flashing a code, and you know, unless it's the display board, if it's flashing a code, you're pretty much replacing the heater.
No
So
kidding. The whole thing.
yeah, there's no real test points for it. There's no real way for you to check it out to see, okay, maybe what's failing, what's going on. Even though you do get an error code, you can drill it down a little bit further, which is nice about the American Standard, is that we can actually open it up and get to the test points inside and then test it. And we can kind of see where the fault actually occurred. It says here's a fault, yes, but where did it actually occur? And
Right.
then if it's field
Gotcha.
serviceable, we can take care of it on the spot so we can have less downtime for a customer.
What's the attraction? So efficiency, is it better cost also, or why are people flocking to the heat pumps?
Well, I think the reason a lot of people are flocking to the heat pump is you have an Energy Star rating. They are more efficient. They produce about 60% less.
Wow.
They use about 60% less energy than a
Wow.
standard electric water heater type of a thing. So you're using quite a bit less energy in doing it.
Yeah.
Used to the heat pumps, they wouldn't keep up with the demand. You could run them out of hot water and they wouldn't be able to keep up with it. Nowadays, though, they've got so much intelligence in them, they can kind of see what the drawdown rate is. And if it's approaching critical level, then it'll actually kick on. You can actually put it in a boost mode and it'll actually use heat pump and element at the same time.
I see.
So it can actually speed up the recovery time much faster. Um, so it's got they put a lot more smarts into them now. So I think people are liking them because they're finding better ways to use them. We have some people that they'll put them down where we are. We do have a good bit of basements. So we have people that'll put them down their basement, and the nice thing about it is actually cool their surrounding air, and by doing so, they're able to store things that they wasn't able to store in the past,
I see.
and it
In the
provides
basement, you mean?
yeah,
Store in the basement?
yeah,
Gotcha.
store it in the lower levels. And because it provides dehumidification, it's kind of a 2-for-1 deal.
Wow.
Um, so it helps dry the air, helps cool the air, helps helps with that. So have to use the dehumidifier that they bought. So
That's pretty awesome.
I
Can
think a
you
lot of people.
plumb so is it the exhaust? Maybe if you don't mind, I don't need the whole science, but give me a little of the technology on a heat pump. Why is it, the exhaust is cool airs, right? It's
Yeah.
pulling
So
the heat.
yeah, it's performing the same exact way that that an air conditioner does,
Right.
or or a heat pump does. When it runs. So it's actually pulling in the outside air. It's stripping away the heat. It's converting that heat to energy, and then it's putting that heat into the water against the water heater to heat the water in the water heater. Some of them are inside, some of them are outside. And
Gotcha.
for that coil, and then the exhausting air is always cooler than the incoming air.
Can you run that exhaust like into AC duct, or
No,
like are there a lot of different things you can do with that exhaust
no, it's
fan,
got
or
to
am
have.
I
No,
crazy?
you can't do that. Um, I'm sure at some point somebody will do that, but I don't think anybody's going to do that right now. No, it's got to be able to freely breathe. So it's got to be able to pull air in, through, and out without restriction.
I
Um,
see.
some applications, if you don't have enough uh, square footage or cubic space, that you can put a duct kit to it, where you can put a duct to it and from it, so
I
that it
see.
can pull air in, so it has air to use, and it can exhaust that air, because you can't put it into a very small space. If you
Gotcha.
do, it just freezes up.
Gotcha. What about like here in Southern California? They put a lot of water heaters in interior closets.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's a thing out by you at all, but I find it kind of weird. And for tankless, tankless can get noisy and stuff, and whereas, a tank does not. So people get a little shocked sometimes by the noise coming out of that thing. Can you put a heat pump in an interior closet also, or
As long as there's enough, as long as you have enough free air, you can.
so
So
maybe the duct, like you were saying, might be
either
making
ducted, or we do put them into closets, and those closets being, pretty small.
yeah,
What we'll do is simply we'll change the door, which is, say, a full louvered door,
I see.
and then it has all the free air exchange it needs, and you can do it that way.
Gotcha.
Either that, or you can duct it. Uh, you can duct it to in and out of an attic, or through it, or whatever. As long as it has the free air to move, you're good to go.
Gotcha. Yeah, I appreciate that.
But
So take us back to
they are quieter than a tankless unit.
oh, yeah, I should have asked that.
Hmm.
So quieter than that, but not, the silence almost of a traditional tank style water
No, they're
heater.
not. They're not quite as quiet, because really the only thing you have moving is the fan.
I see.
So if you start hearing noise, it's usually because the bearings on the fan are going out, or getting ready to have to change.
Oh, I gotcha. And that's not changeable? You gotta change out the whole unit usually, or
No,
the
most of the
bearing?
time you can change that. You can change the fan. A couple of
I see.
brands, it makes it a little bit more difficult, but in I would say probably in the last 12 years, we have changed two fans.
Oh, nice.
So
Great.
they don't.
Dependable.
Yeah, they work pretty good. So.
Nice. Yeah. Well, they're definitely getting popular, so it's something for the guys and girls out there to look into, on a
Oh,
local basis.
absolutely. And because they're getting a lot more efficient, and they're able to do it faster and heat the water up faster, people are starting to put like recirculating on it,
Nice.
and other things. But that you got to upsize your heater if you're going to put recirculating onto a
Oh,
heater.
there you go. Another tip from Don. So, Don, take us back to 2008. Are you starting the company yourself, or do you have a little core of group of guys coming with you, or what's it look
No,
like
it
on day
was
one?
no. I was no. I was chief cook and bottle washer whenever I rolled out on that day. I like I says, work was drying up. We didn't have a lot of work going on or anything. I had you know, I like I said, I've been doing this for a number of years, so I knew quite a few people. I sit down with my wife and we talked about it, and we looked at where we were and what we were doing, and how we were doing it, and how were we going to go, how were we going to get to the next, how were we going to live, how were we going to survive.
Yeah.
And so my daughter, she was, I guess she was about 6, and
Wow.
6 or 8, and it was just like, okay, well, I know what I need to do. I know how to do it. So how about I start my own business and go into plumbing? And you can do a lot when you have the love of a woman behind you. You can do a lot. And
Amen.
she said that sounds like a good idea, and I'll support you. Let's do it. And so I started out on my own. We're in debt, living off credit cards, and so I needed a van. I tried to work out of my pickup, but that was very difficult. Wasn't
Yeah.
so hard if I was doing new construction or construction, but in service, it was difficult to work out of a pickup.
Need a
Uh,
lot of tools and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, so definitely a little bit
Parts.
harder. So I I borrowed I borrowed a little bit of money, borrowed about $1,500 to buy a van as a down payment, and bought the van. Um, Went to our local community college here and spoke to them. They have what's called a small business incubator. Uh,
Nice.
and there's incubators all over the country
Yep.
located at college campuses and universities, and they're funded usually by the Small Business Administration.
Great
And
advice.
I was able to sit down with them. I sat down with the director at the college there, and told her what I wanted to do. She put me in touch with a CPA. She put me in touch with an
Nice.
attorney, and she put me in touch with an accountant. And we sat down and already had the name. They told me how to incorporate it, how to structure it. Um,
Beautiful.
Pointed me in the direction of the bank and which bank to use and how to set that up and what paperwork to take. And it was just me, just running calls. I went down to a friend of mine. He made me a sign for my yard. Uh, I went out to the road, put the sign out at the road. I didn't do a yard sign. I did a big sign. I did it. It's 3 foot by 5 foot,
Nice.
good size board. Put big posts down on each side of
Four
it, so
by
it was
fours. Nice.
impossible to miss. And just waited for people to give me a call, and um, Lord just really blessed us, and he he told me he says you got to go to work, and I didn't have a single job that day. I didn't have one job that day. I didn't have anything going on, and told my wife, I said, "Hey, listen, I got to go to work." She says, "You got a job?" I says, "Nope, I don't have a job, but I'm going to go to work." And I jumped in the truck and took off, and we lived kind of out in the country. And before I made it to the highway, I had a phone call. Before I made it to the next overpass, I had another phone call. And before I made it to
Nice.
the next overpass, I had my third phone call. And before I hit town, I had my full day and of people calling me. And so it's been, I've done a lot of things since then. But he's always he's always taken care of us. He's always pointed the way. So it's not to say it hasn't had, that I haven't went astray and hasn't had my ups and downs.
Sure.
Uh,
Sure.
yeah, that was me.
Nice start. All from that, your sign there. Your calls are coming from the sign?
All the calls came from my sign. I did not have a website. I didn't have a Facebook page. I didn't have any of that. It was all just from my sign. Yeah, I went down and had business cards and told people that I had run into over the years, hey, if you need any help, just let me know. I got my own business now. Give me a call. if you
Nice
want,
networking.
and you know, that's kind of how it all. That's where it all started from, right there.
Yeah, that's a great start, Don, and really super smart to go to SBA. There's also a related organization called SCORE. I think SCO, retired executives. I forgot what the heck it stands for. Same
Mhm.
thing though, nonprofit related to the SBA. And if you're lucky, you bump it into a retired executive who really knows their stuff. Sounded like they guided you well.
Score is very good. Score is very good. Anybody that's not using Score, you know, Score can help just about anybody,
Yeah,
regardless of
Even-
size. Regardless
yeah,
whether you're one man in a truck or you've got 180 trucks out there and 4 or 5 locations. I would encourage because they have a lot of resources. Yes, they are a resource for retired executives to depart knowledge and help
right,
you
right.
with. But they have so many other resources that you can use. You can use them for lots of different things. You can use them for press releases.
Mm,
Use them for helping for photography. You can help them for marketing. Um, they can help you in if you don't have an attorney on retainer. You can always usually tell them what your problem is, what your issue is, and they can help you out. And most of the time, they are going to refer you to, or they're going to recommend that you find an association.
right.
So if you don't have a local association or a state association, I too would highly recommend that you do so.
Yeah, I see you mentioned PHCC quite often on well, all you guys are trained, certified, and you mention a lot on your website. By the way, hats off. Website is killer, and your logo, great branding, Don. You did a super excellent job there.
Thank you.
Um, so yeah, agreed. Great advice. So SBA, SCORE, and then local or state trade association, plumbing association, or if you're in another trade, there are definitely state associations for sure. And
Absolutely.
depending on your county or whatever size, population, all that, there may be even a more local.
And
So
if you
yeah,
don't
these are all.
have or know of association, go to your local licensing board and ask them, hey,
Oh,
is there an association that you would recommend that I can
great.
join, that I can get resources and help from? They know, they're plugged into those people.
Yeah, great idea.
I
Great
would
idea.
recommend that too.
Another, you can cross that over. Like, so if you find yourself doing business with a lot of property managers, let's say, or
Mhm.
something like that, then go join their trade association, state,
Yes,
and attend those meetings. See if they'll let you, or not if they'll let you, but apply to become a speaker on a topic of doing camera inspections before escrow closes or
hmm
whatever. Find,
absolutely.
yeah,
Put
if
yourself
you're,
out there, be a resource. Absolutely.
yeah, it's all about networking. And like Don said, these guys and gals, they want to help, right? So they ran a
Oh,
business,
yeah.
they were an exec for
Mhm.
their whole life, 40 years, 50 years, and some of them are absolutely brilliant.
Mhm.
So I remember doing that. My dad gave me that advice, man, all the way back when I was in my 20s or something. Go to SCORE, talk to those people, start there.
They
So
can.
that's awesome, Don. So we got day one. We're out there in the truck. You made it happen. Your mojo made it happen. The calls are coming in. What's the first thing? How do you grow from there? What's your first like marketing move, advertising move?
I did a
What's
lot of different things when I first started.
sure.
And, for marketing, I would say grassroots is definitely the way to go. You can spend tens of thousands of dollars in SEO and Google and Google will tell you how to spend your money and make sure you spend all of it.
Real fast.
And so will so many SEO companies out there.
Definitely.
I've been taken advantage of more than once.
Yep.
Um, and so that's always you got to be wary of that and make sure that they're working for you.
Yep.
Um, so I would definitely work on the grassroots side of things. Yard signs, ask for referrals. People say that you did a good job, or just ask them, is there anything else I can do for you while I'm here? Or
Right.
hey, if you know of a neighbor and you refer me, I'll give them some money off, give them $20, um,
Have some
give
kind of
them 20
referral
bucks, give them
program.
30 bucks, give them 50 bucks, whatever the case may be,
Yep.
because it's going to cost you more than that to get that customer to call in, and they're calling cold versus getting a referral, which is hot and they know somebody, and that's going to
Yeah.
cost you far, far less. So even if even it doesn't matter, you pay them 30, 40, 50 bucks, people will do that. Give them an Amazon gift card. People like that. Doing
Right.
those grassroots things, that really moves the needle. It really does. Asking for a referral, asking for if there's anything else you can do for them, even if it's as much as taking out the trash for them, or
Nice.
pulling the garbage cans in from the curb.
Yep. The
Um,
little lady or whatever, helping
whatever
them out.
whatever the case may be.
Yep.
Don't be afraid to help, and you'll get it. You mentioned our website, and so our website was just recently redesigned.
Nice.
But
Good
our
job.
branding actually came from Kick Charge Creative. We had them redo us 6 years ago, um, and Kick Charge Creative is who came up with our colors and our
It's
mascot,
awesome.
and they are head and shoulders above anybody else that I can think of or even name. Um, our current company does which are different. Our current company that does SEO, um, they're a lot different than most. Most people, they want you to be hands off. Yeah, give us some feedback, and they'll kind of ignore it and say we know what's best. But the
Mm.
company we're using today, I I talk to him at least 3 times a week. We video chat
Nice.
once a week. Um, and he does everything. He does everything marketing. If I need something printed, I say, hey, let's get this printed. If I need new business cards, he takes care of that. If I was like,
Mm.
hey, we need to eliminate or redo the web page and the website, I want to get rid of this page, or I want to move traffic from this page to this page, or we want to do this. When it comes to this, he's there all the time. We have constant communication back and forth via um, a software program there where we exchange
Nice.
information. We can post stuff. He can use it. He takes care of our social, and it's not just him taking care of it. He actually helps
Team.
train our people so
Oh,
that they can learn to do it and take the smaller things off of his plate.
nice.
And he just goes in every now and then just to see if, hey, it's looking good or whatever the case may be. That way he can focus more on other things and focus on other customers as well. But
Hmm. But on the external, I like that. So you brought some of the social media marketing in-house. Yeah.
yes, our social media marketing is in house,
Beautiful.
and a lot of our content is uh, is also in house. So we don't
Nice.
have somebody else to do our content. Um, I create about 3 content pieces a week,
Good
and
for you.
send to him for cleaning up or a little editorial, uh, and then
Nice.
and then
Do you write that? You can do it in any form. I'm sure he would accept it as video, audio, or written. Which do you prefer to give it to him in, Don?
what I will typically do is I will record an audio of a topic,
Nice.
like my topic that I have that I've not done yet is sewer gas smell.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is basically I just put my earbuds in, put my phone on, and go for a walk. And
Mm,
I hit the record button and I start rambling on for anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour. Um, and then I can send that audio file to him, or I'll put it into a audio to
oh,
text converter file.
okay.
It'll convert everything to text, and then I'll go through it and edit it, or I may send it. If it looks pretty good, I'll just send it to him, let him edit it. Um, Sometimes he'll take it and stick it into a chat um, to clean it up, and then I go through and edit it, uh, make sure the words are the correct words, kind of thing.
The
Because
final edit.
plumbing words don't really translate to English words too well sometimes. So
Right.
yeah, that's
That's
how we do
great.
it.
Great idea. Great. Another great idea. And for those listeners out there, again, you can do it in whatever form turns you on. So that's a good one, audio, but maybe you like to write, or maybe you just want to turn the camera on and talk
I would
away. And then,
recommend that if because AI is this big thing. Is the reason I say that is AI is getting bigger and
yep,
bigger and bigger, and I want to make it a point to the listeners here is that anytime you use a chat, and I'm just using that as a catch-all
yep,
AI.
AI. Yep,
Anytime you use that, you're using it as an open source. So don't put anything in there that is proprietary to you.
right.
Because what it's doing is it's going out there, it's grabbing all the information that's on the internet, it's bringing in it to you, it's showing it to you, and then it's taking anything you do and it's throwing it back out there on the internet. So be
Yes,
very careful with that. If you want
yes.
something that's more, if you want something that's protective, you do have to pay a little bit of money for it, but it's called Magi, and Magi will take everything from the internet and apply it to what you need, but it doesn't let it go back out to the internet.
Is that an AI program that you're working with
That
then,
is,
Maja?
it's Magi is an AI program, but what it does is it actually encompasses. I think there's 10 different AIs that you can use. It's got like Turbo and Chat and
Yep.
Llama and Dolly and
Good for you, Don.
Turbo and
Bard.
Genesis and
Yep.
God, I don't know how many others, but it's using all of those and allowing you, and you can say, okay, I want to use this for this one. It's got a prompt writer. If you're trying to figure out how to create a prompt, it's got a
That's
prompt writer in there.
science. Yeah.
It's
That's
it's really
awesome.
good.
What's the, how do you spell that, Don?
Magai.
Magi, whatever, Maggie.
Maggie.
Something
Maggie
out there.
Magi. Magi. Hmm.
Yeah, McGee.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome. There is code also, I'm pretty sure, SEO or HTML code, or it might even be JavaScript. So don't hold me to that. There is code you can put on your website or particular pages
hmm,
to stop the AI, stop Googlebot from scraping that page and not allowing it to be used by large language models. So there is code you can put out there. Says a valid concern you have there, Don. You do a lot of work to write an article or whatever, and maybe with some unique proprietary information, and poof, the scraper comes by, and the next thing you know, Google is answering other people's questions with your answers.
that's right. So you're not getting the credit for it. Mhm.
Yeah, not good, not good. A lot of lawsuits out there. Yeah, I'm sure that at some point they will have to, cite their sources, kind of thing, which they
Mhm.
do a little bit. I see, but yeah, they're being sued like crazy, taking people's content. I don't know. It's a legal nightmare. Glad I'm not in the middle of that. Well, I
Yeah, so
guess we
that's
are a
why
little bit. We're
it's best
using
to
AI,
create
right?
your own. It's
What's
best
that?
to create your own, and we all have different ways. And
Yeah,
well, we can all tell you how to install a water heater, and
right,
there'll be 1,000 ways to do it right, and there'll be 1,000 ways to do it wrong.
right.
Um, but as long as it's right, it's right.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm glad you brought social in-house because I've been an advocate of that for years now. That people want to see the team, they want to see you, they want to see your customers, want to see
mhm.
you out in the field, all that stuff. I would not hand that over to a marketing company. They're just not going to be able to, kick ass for you out there. Like
Because
put
they
your
don't have that
personal,
they don't have that personal connection that you do.
nah, unless you want to be sending them photos, 100 photos every single month or something like that. So
There
better
you go.
to yeah. Now, did you bring in like a social media person, or did you train your techs now to go above and beyond and
No,
start filming?
our technicians, we put so much. It's so easy to ask your technicians to do more. It's so
One more
easy.
thing,
Hey, while you're there, push this button so it does a pin drop. Hey, while you're there, do
right?
this so that it sends them a review request, and it does a
Right,
pin drop, and it does this, and it does this. The guy's there to fix.
right,
Okay, and he should be there, or they should be there, she should be there to go see what's going on. They should all be presenting some options of, I can do X or Y at least, you know, on a repair, and I can do X and Y on a replacement at least. Um, so, oh, don't forget, I need you to, they have to sign off, and don't forget that you need to put your completion notes in. Don't forget that I need you to take pictures and label them. Don't forget that I need you to get the customer's consent so you can use their likeness. Don't forget that I need you to hit this button to, do a pin drop, and don't forget to do this. Got it? Great. See you later.
right.
Bye. Nobody's going to remember all that.
Point made. Yeah, well done.
So we don't have the guys do it. What we do is we ask them, the simple things, the standard things, and then we go through, and our CSRs will go through and talk to the guys, and they're constantly communicating back and forth anyway.
Yep.
And then they take that, and then we have them contribute to the social media.
Nice, nice. Yeah, because they're getting the story from the tech and maybe even the customer themselves, both sides.
Yeah, and then
Uh,
get that both sides of it. And the nice thing is they're not real plumbing or tech savvy, so
right.
they kind of put their spin on it, which kind of
Oh,
turns it more into more of a customer centric
brilliant.
thing. So
Didn't
that's
even
what.
think about that. Sure, they're going to put a layman's spin on it and make it digestible for the rest of us out there who are not plumbers.
Right.
Yeah, pretty good. And they're already getting the photos and stuff from the CRM, right? That the techs had
Yeah.
to take pictures of, so they already got the armament. Yeah.
It only took us, 20 years to get them to start putting photos in.
Uh, well, like you just did a very good rundown of all those. Oh, by the way, while you're there, things for the tech. And yeah, if you're a tech, you're like, really? One more thing?
Really, I'm here to
I'd
fix
like to
a
work
leak.
with these things, not with these things. So can you
There
get
you
me
go.
back to working with these things? Yeah, exactly.
There you
Crazy, crazy.
Every day.
Don, what would you say? Give me like one or two, or just one giant challenge that you faced through the years. Like, oh man, this was a problem, but it turned into something that maybe made you pivot the business a little bit and turned into a good thing. Anything like that in the history?
It's something that I've been thinking about for quite some time. We use coaches. I would recommend that in the beginning, or even at any point in time, if you do not have a coach, it does not have to be a coach that knows that. They don't have to know anything about plumbing. They don't have to know anything about HVAC. They don't have to know anything about electrical. A business coach, anybody that is, you do need to know one. You do need one that knows the trade or trades.
Great. Yeah.
Um, they're going to help you. One of the biggest things they're going to tell you, what is your break even?
Right.
Um, and what is your honest, uh, calculated rate that you use for setting your prices. Um, and then they should teach you how to read your numbers. If
Yeah.
you have those three things, then you can go a long ways in a very short period of time. If
Yeah.
you don't have
Great.
those things, you're going to beat your head against the wall. You're going to wonder why. You're going to be scratching your head, and you're going to be looking and looking and looking and looking and looking, and then, before long, you're going
Yeah.
to either find it yourself, stumble on it, or you're gonna hear about it. But get a coach. Get a
Yeah.
coach. Find an
Great advice.
association. Get a coach. Know your numbers. Know
Yeah.
your numbers.
Anybody you recommend? By the way, you could recommend that marketing guy's name. There's 450,000 plumbers out there. I'm all good with that. So let's give credit to that marketing company that you're using,
I use Integris Design. Um,
Integris Design. Because
Integris
excellent job, Don. The
Integris
site is
Design.
a
Um, they revamped our website last March.
yeah,
Is when they revamped our website, and
great job.
they're very, very good. They do audio, they do video, they do drone stuff.
Nice.
They take care of people all over the country. They do shops, like online shops. Actually, we have one that we're actually getting to relaunch a an online shopping uh,
Oh wow,
that you're going to be able to do. You're going to be able to buy things online, uh, pay for
great,
memberships online. We're
nice.
revamping a lot of stuff that we have. But Integris Design is my marketing guy, and then
And your
Coach
branding
is
guy
in,
was who? Who was the branding company originally?
Kick Charge
Kick
Creative.
Charge. So
Kick
a
Charge
double.
Creative. Yeah, Danny
Great.
Antonelli. He's he
Oh,
well,
that's
actually,
Dan again. Danny Antonelli, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
Danny Antonelli.
something like that. Yep.
Um,
Highly regarded. His name
he's
pops up
very
all the time.
he's yeah, he has won. It was really cool. I told him what I wanted whenever I went to him. I says, "Well, this is what I was looking for. I'm looking for
Red, white, and
something
blue.
that's unique, maybe a mascot." Uh, and he goes, "Okay, gotcha." He asked me a whole bunch of other questions, and I gave that to him. And I guess it was about 6 weeks. He came back to me, and we stayed in contact through a software that allowed us to go back and forth with questions and answers and images and stuff. And he sat me down and he says, "Okay, I got some big. I just want you to know we sat down with some focus groups, and we threw your branding out there to see your logos and stuff out there to see what got liked and what didn't get liked. And the first ones he showed me is all the ones that I thought were great. And he told me that nobody in the focus group liked anything I picked.
Plumbing wrenches and things like that, right?
So I would definitely, if you're looking at doing that, take yourself out of the game when it comes to um, deciding what you think people like. They
Yeah,
use marketing groups, they use focus groups, and um, the brand and the logo and such that we use today was actually the very last one image that he showed me that had the highest marks with the focus groups. So
interesting. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
just
you never know what's going to come. And it's something in the marketing world, right? If we're, I'm in the marketing world, but if I was a plumber, I'm a plumber. I'm not a marketer. So,
right.
you
What
know,
we think looks good has nothing to do with what actually works. So,
exactly. And everybody wants red, white, and blue. And, no, you got to come up with some weird colors that are
yeah,
going to grab attention and stuff like
yeah.
that.
He
So,
changed
yeah.
our color. That was right before he switched. He goes, "By the way, I had a question. How attached are you to blue?" And I'm like, "I don't know." But I've learned by the end of this conversation that I'm not gonna. I shouldn't be attached to anything.
Right? That's funny.
So
That's good stuff. So, and let's go now to the coach, right? So, a coach you recommend at all, Don?
there's lots
Business
of
coach?
coaches. There are a lot of coaches. I would venture to say there's probably a business coach in your town.
Yeah.
Um, but I belong to another association called Service Nation,
Okay.
And a lot of people may know it may have heard of it, called Service Roundtable.
Okay.
They've been around for a long time, but they have another aspect of them that's called Service Nation, and they offer coaching. Uh, that's one of the things they offer in that venue, but it doesn't have to be them. It can be Action Coach is a
Hmm.
they're pretty much countrywide, nationwide. They're pretty much nationwide. Just Action Coach, but if you don't know, I would recommend going to a you know, I don't think I'd take coaching advice from an accountant,
No, no, too
unless
many
you're
other
looking
factors.
for
They're
accounting.
working just from number. Yeah.
If you're looking for accounting advice, then yeah, go to your accountant.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for business advice on, how do I get my numbers, and what do I need to be looking at, and what's the structure, and how do I handle this situation or that situation, there are so many resources out there. But they need to be your first step needs to be, what are my numbers? And when they say,
Yeah.
what are your numbers? They should be asking, how did you get to your numbers? And, you know, that's one of the very first questions. Because if your base isn't right,
Yeah.
everything's off from that.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're going to ask if you have processes and procedures in place. They should be
Right.
looking over your processes and procedures. See, do they make sense? Can they be followed?
Right.
Are you leaving things out? First one thing, another. But there's not a coach that I would recommend. I remember the first time a coach ever approached me,
Hmm.
which was probably 2 years after I started my business. And we were talking. He told me he was a business coach and he'd like to help me. And I remember telling him, I was like, how can you help me? You don't know anything about the plumbing business. And I have since ate those words more than once.
Yeah.
And
Natural words to shoot out. Yeah.
I've called him up and we talk, and we're still friends to this day.
Oh, no kidding. You guys did business and still hanging
Oh,
now.
we've never done business. We're just friends.
Oh, that's
We never
hilarious.
done business. Yeah.
That's
But
great.
we stayed friends. And his name is Bill Gillian, and he's with Action Coach in Asheville. And
Nice.
he's a really great guy. He's got a whole team of coaches that he works with, and they work around the country. Um, and the nice thing about coaches today, you can find them online because of video we have here,
Yeah.
and you can communicate back and forth very, very freely and easily. And you can have, they need to be able to look at your books. They need to be able to see what you're doing. They need to be able to help you understand. Um, so, not, wish I had one that was like
It's good
the
advice.
guru, but uh, that's
No,
why
that,
I talked to probably. I've got one coach that I work with primarily, but I have six other people that
yeah.
I relay information off of, and I bounce ideas off of, and they'll tell me whether or not I'm going in a good direction.
Nice. Yeah, you need a little mastermind group of people actually, which you'll eventually develop over time. So
Yeah,
back to SCORE and SBA, you might find your business coach there, or they might be able to recommend
yes,
Chamber
I
of
would recommend.
Commerce, BNI meetings. This is really for networking, but you here again, you might find, ask around, you might find somebody local. Then you can go big, like just Google plumbing coach, right? Or HVAC coach, or Tommy Mello from A1 Garage Door, with his multi-$100 million company. He runs a training thing with attracts like 1,000 people a year, probably excellent.
Yep.
So yeah, so you're definitely wise. Get that cost to roll out a truck. What's your break even price?
Hmm.
Because this is probably the biggest problem for everybody, right? Is we're not pricing correctly. We're pricing based on our competitors. Most of our competitors are going to go out of business, so we're going to follow them. We're going to look at, 2 years from now, try to look back. What was my problem? And my problem was pricing, right? So, yeah, get that advice, drill down, find out what your costs are, You're probably going to be shocked at what you really need to charge to, and then tell that story right to your customers. We have great tools, great trucks. We take care of our people, insurance, benefits, blah blah blah, right? And we make up for it with a great warranty, um, and all those kinds of things. Let's wrap up with that, Don. So I see on your site, looks like maintenance plans play a pretty good sized role, maybe in your company, or at least promoted on your
Yeah,
website. So talk about that. Is it a, a good service for you guys? Has it proved to be a fruitful service to offer?
maintenance plans in plumbing are becoming more and more accepted and wanted because people don't want the large expense, unexpected
Right,
expense. So by we have three different tiers of maintenance plans, and our premium, which is uh, it's a and these are all monthly services. These are all monthly charges. I mean,
right.
yes, you can buy it outright, um, but it's best if you do monthly. It's just a little bit. It's just a little bit, but it gives you that peace of mind. But our premium service, we're going to come out and we are going to do that whole home inspection, like many people do. But our inspection takes right at an hour to do, and that's just for a standard 3-2 house. Okay, if you're
Nice.
bigger than that, it's going to take longer than that. Okay, we're going to go in the crawl space. We're going to go in the attic. We're going to be like a home inspector. We're going to be looking at every little thing. If it's water or drain or vent related, we're going to be going through it. We're even going to look at your dryer vent to see, is it of the proper material? Are you at
Nice.
risk of a fire? Any of these kind of things. We're going to go through that once a year. We will, on our premium plan once a year, we're going to flush your tank heater. We're going to flush your tankless heater. Okay. Um, and or we will rebed a if you're on if you're say on a well water and you're reusing sacrificial media, we'll actually rebed your filter so you can have your
Nice.
tankless heater taken care of 1 year. You can rebed the next year, your tankless the following year, rebed the following year,
I see.
and it's just a monthly. It's just a small monthly fee that you have. We're going to check everything out. You're going to get that priority service. People like that. And then we can build on that with other services that we have,
Right.
um, that you can incorporate to that as well.
Yeah, I like it. I see you give discount if you belong to it, then you have
Mhm.
discounts on other products and other service calls and stuff like that. I like it a lot.
Right. Yeah.
And that's proved to be a winner for you guys, Don?
It has. Yes. Yes, it has. We've had it for a long time, but we just started recently, earlier this year, just started recently pushing it out a little harder, and really just making our technicians, making our guys aware of this is what we have, this is what it'll do, this is how it can help. And so we train the guys on what our plan is, and we train our guys on how that plan will work, and we train our guys on how, if you can add these things in, um, to help the customer, because you're there to help the customer.
Right.
And, when you see an issue, if you know these things that you can do for them, then it's their choice. You present it to them. They make the choice of whether they do or they don't, they will or they won't. And you let them make that decision. But if you're looking at doing something other for just a few bucks a month compared to them spending, hundreds or even thousands of dollars unexpectedly,
Yeah.
then they find that very comforting.
I like it. I like it. You're staying connected to that customer. You got your grips on them, so to speak. They're coming back to you for any business.
Yeah,
Anything? Do you do postcard or email newsletter or anything to stay in touch with past customers at all,
we
Don?
do. Yeah, we do a trickle campaign where we're sending out postcards, we're sending out emails, keeping up with our existing clients.
Excellent.
Once you get a client, it's they're the
Yeah.
most important commodity that you have.
Yeah.
because they know you, they know how you work, they like you. And anybody that's called you twice is worth their weight. We actually go through, and once a year we partner with a company called To Your Success. Uh,
Okay.
they they send baked goods to your
Nice.
clients. Really, all
Nice.
you got to do is just send them your list, and you don't even have to format it. You can just send them your customer list, and you can say, okay, anybody that spent, you know, between this much and this much, or up to this much, and you can say, send them, you know, send them this gift and they have all these gifts on their website, and all that goes out, and then they
Great.
will format your list, get all the mailings done, package everything up, ship everything out, put a little card in there for you, the whole 9 yards, and send it out there. We do that at Christmas time, in end of the year. Right after Thanksgiving, we send that out to, and it goes out to. Last year, it went out to 4,000 people.
Wow. Nice. Good for you. That's great. Great connection. That's making an impact. They're like, wow, you hit their tummy. You hit their love button, right? They're like,
Yeah,
yeah,
you know, everybody likes cookies, and
right?
cookies and
Right?
pretzels and chocolate. Everybody likes
Yeah.
that stuff.
Lay it on me. That's really smart. Really smart. Yeah. Combined with all the other efforts, super excellent job, Don. All right,
Thank
Don, since I'm the world's worst podcast host and questioner, I'm going to turn the floor over to you, and anything you'd like to talk about, any advice you have for guys just getting started out there that I didn't touch on at all. The floor is yours, sir.
Well, first of all, Mark, I just want to say thank you very much for having me on, and I really appreciate the questions. I really appreciate you drilling down and having me on. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
I think that everybody has something to offer. Um, I think I think we're amiss when we don't listen. There may be people that don't. You may not be the best talker or the best speaker or the best wordsmith, uh, but I think everybody has something unique to offer to somebody else. And but if I was to offer any advice to anybody, I think I've put it out there already. Get a coach, and know your numbers, and how did you get to those numbers, and is the way you're getting to those numbers, does that work for you? And because everybody's situation is different. Your situation working out of a garage that has all your materials in it, and you don't necessarily have the mortgage, or you may not necessarily have the rent that you have to pay for that. If you're running trucks that are 1 year old, or you're running trucks that are 15 years old, that matters, how you're coming up to your numbers. Are you know once you have all your pieces in place, are you wearing uniforms, are you just wearing short t-shirts and pants, or what are you doing? All these things go into what your numbers are. And then at the end of the day, what is it going to take for you to be in business next year? And what is it going to take for you to be able to provide the life that you need so that you can survive for next year, and the year after that, and the year after that? And what is it going to take to be, appealing to somebody? Because at some point we're going to get out of this. At some point you're going to hand it over. You're going to close the doors. You're going to sell it. You're going to do something with it. It's that's inevitable.
Mhm.
So when you first start out, know where you're going to end up. If you don't, think about the end today, because that'll help you get where you want to go.
Great advice. Great advice throughout the whole episode, Don. I appreciate that. And that last thing you touched on probably should have been one of the things we touched on earlier is like, what's your end game? And then plot out from there.
Mm.
And if you haven't thought about it now, time to think about it. What are you going to do with the business?
A
So
lot of
yeah,
times we don't think about it. We don't think about the end because it's like either A, you're very young, you're in your 20s or 30s, or maybe even in your 40s. And,
right,
you think, man, I'm going to do this for 10 years and I'm going to retire. Well,
right,
great. That's a good plan. But if you don't have a target of when is retirement, when is that 10 years? What does the business look like in 10 years? Where are you sitting at financially and percentage wise and profit wise and debt wise and first one thing another? And so many times I didn't have a clue. I just
yeah,
knew that all I knew was I had to provide for my family
right,
out of necessity. And a lot of times, and like I said, so I've learned a lot of things after the fact.
yeah.
And it would have been better off if I could have started before the fact.
Yeah, that's all of us, Don. That's everybody out there, right? We started for yeah. Most of us are just trying to feed the family, right? Or we're tired of working for whoever we were. Maybe the people we were working for weren't the best humans on the planet, whatever. But we start the business, and then we learn, and it takes years, years and years and years. Just about time you got it all figured out is time to sell it or give it up. So yeah, it's an ongoing process, and you got to enjoy the journey, right? It's all about loving the process. Don, you've been awesome, sir. I can't thank you enough for coming on and sharing some super golden nuggets there with the team. Got a lot out of it myself, so thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mark. Always a pleasure. Be happy to come back on another time. Just give me a buzz.
I'm going to take you up on that probably, Don. Thank you, sir.
All right.